Hi, and thanks so much for being here. I'm Anna, and today I want to share with you how to use up some of that beautiful designer paper that you have. How much designer paper do you have? Do you have a little bit? Do you have a lot? Do you have a closet full? A lot of us have more than we probably really need. Today I want to share with you a really great idea for how to use your designer paper. And this is a one-sheet wonder. If you haven't heard of one-sheet wonders before, I'm going to show you how to use a 12 by 12 piece of designer paper, and we are going to make 11 different card designs from this one piece of designer paper. They turned out beautifully, and they come together really quickly. Let's get started. Here you can see just a few of the card designs I made with today's one sheet wonder project. I absolutely love how they turned out. I love these colors, and I want to show you how to create these cards from one piece of designer paper. So I'll show you how to cut a 12 by 12 piece into all the smaller pieces for these cards, and then I'll share with you the rest of those card designs. So here we are. This is another piece of 12 by 12 paper from the Beauty of the Earth paper pack, just some really pretty natural prints. And with either of those 12-inch sides at the top, we want to line this up at 4 inches and cut. Now this large piece I'm going to set off to the side while we cut this smaller piece into sections. So first I want to turn it sideways, and we're going to cut one piece at 5.5. Set that piece off to the side. Line this up at 5 1/4 and trim. Now the small piece you can set off to the side. This larger one we are going to trim at a diagonal to get 2 triangles. Okay, now bring that other piece back in. This should measure 12 by 8 now. Lay the 12-inch side along the top, and we are going to cut at 3 inches. Go ahead and lay this large piece off to the side. Now this 3-inch strip, we want to cut one piece off at 3 inches, so we'll have a 3 by 3 square. And then this larger piece, we are trimming again at a diagonal. Bring that large piece back in that we set off to the side. This should now measure 8 inches by 9 inches. We're laying that 8-inch side at the top, and we are going to cut at 3 inches. Now with this piece, we want to cut off a 2-inch piece. Three 1-inch pieces, and it's up to you if you want to line these up here, or maybe a little bit easier to start over here and cut 1, 2, 3, and then you should have a 4-inch piece left. Set those off to the side. The piece we have left now should measure 9 inches by 5 inches. Lay that 9-inch side at the top. We want to cut at 3 inches. And then we want to cut 3 pieces that measure 1/2 inch. Now when I'm doing this, I find it a little bit easier to line them up here and just slide that over. Now what's left should measure 5 inches by 4.5 inches. And we are going to lay that 5-inch side at the top. We want to cut at 2.5 inches. So we cut that piece in half. Now we want to take one of these, lay it with the 4.5-inch at the side at the top, and we want to cut this at 2.5 inches. So now we have all of our designer paper pieces prepped and ready for all 11 card designs. So let me share these card designs with you. And I'll mention, if you want all of the measurements for the mats that I created, the cardstock pieces in the background, what you'll want to do, click on the link in the video description below to go to my website, and I have all of the dimensions there on my site so you can create any or all of these cards. So here is a beautiful one that I created with those 3 small panels that we trimmed. I thought that turned out really nice. Several of these I created with just 1 large panel, and there are some different dimensions. Here is one that takes up most of that card front. Here is one that covers almost the entire card front. Here's another one of those large panels, a vertical one, and that appears to be most of my, or all of the single panel ones. Here are 2 that I created with those diagonal cut pieces. This one I actually laid on top of a piece of cardstock and mat the whole thing. This one, I just put a narrow strip of cardstock behind it and trimmed the edges so that it would line up with that angle. So those are 2 different ways you can use your angle pieces. Now, if you like, you can also use those triangles on the same card, and I thought this one turned out really neat. So for this one, I created the background mat in the same way. I just cut a piece of cardstock a little bit larger than the designer paper was before we cut it in half, and cut that piece in half. So like I said, you can get all these dimensions on my website. Here is one that I created with those 3 narrow strips. Here is one with 3 different size blocks that I thought turned out really neat. And then on this one, I used a strip at the bottom and then matted that square piece. So this is a really fun way to use that designer paper. It's a way to create quite a few different cards in one sitting and not a lot of time. And I hope this can help you in your card making projects. Thanks so much for being here. If you're interested in the products I used today, you can find links in the video description below. I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope to see you again next time when I'll be here helping you to hand make with love.